My closing thoughts on this subject. I'd first like to say that there are nothing that we can do. There's no circumstance or situation that cannot be rectified, provided the parties involved genuinely and sincerely, one, take responsibility for their actions, and sincerely and genuinely want to make amends and take appropriate actions to make amends for whatever happened or what was done. There are very few circumstances that can't be healed or fixed or mended. That's one of the beautiful things about the resilience of human beings and our existence. I am not saying any of the stuff that's in the media right now is true. I'm saying that I've seen enough in my lifetime, personally, up close and personal, to know that it is probable, but it doesn't make it so. Again, we are in an information age that is full of disinformation. And so all these leaked videos that everybody keeps talking about, but I've only seen 2 actual videos, and none of them were particularly compromising. Another thing, we know, or at least we as in people involved with the industries, that every so often there's a fall guy. There's somebody that gets dumped on for whatever reasons that they have. And just like you'll have celebrities and people where they're being hyped by everybody and everything, and they're the golden girl or the golden boy, and every movie theater wants them, every, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you'll have the ones that everybody's dumping on, and everybody is putting down and finding fault with everything they do. And that's generally perpetuated to keep interest. The highs and lows and ups and downs in the industry are actually choreographed, planned. They're not naturally occurring events. And most people who deal with the industries, music, television, movies, know this. Though it's not something that's really privy to the general public until recently. So my question is, how much of what's happening is the directed, conscious ebbs and flows? Not taking anything away from what the victims in this situation are saying. Please do not misunderstand that at all. I know that, again, I'm a senior. Most of the people that they're talking about are my children's ages. Most of the people that are involved with the stuff that's going on, that's making the headline news, are my children's ages. So when I was growing up and I was young and seeing they didn't call them freak-offs, they called them swinger parties. And all the Hollywood elites, and I almost slipped up and said names. I'm not naming any names. But for one, they were Caucasians having these swinger parties. They were known, and the casting couch and all that stuff that was going on. Again, this kind of stuff has been going on since silent movies and television. It's actually been going on for a millennium, but it's been being exposed in the public's eye since back in the time of silent movies. And I'm from a generation where we had black and white television and TV shows and transitioned to color during my lifetime, in my childhood. And these things were going on back then. And no one made a big to do about it publicly like they're doing right now with the Diddy saga. Children were involved back then too. I am not excusing any of the behavior. Personally, I think it's beyond time for all of the stuff to be exposed for what it is and what it has been and brought out into the open. But there's a part of me that questions and wonders, well, how far down this branch or up this tree are they going to go? Are they going to only just go for the lower branches that are hanging? Or are they going to go through the whole tree, take every path as far as it leads them to who's involved, who's participated, and how they've participated? Because you're going to have politicians, you're going to have all kinds of moguls and people involved with the stuff that's going on, because that's what I saw growing up. And I don't mean this as an insult to anyone. However, on many levels, what's being exposed right now is kind of like the low-hanging fruit on the tree, when there's still so much more, again, just the tip of the iceberg, that's being exposed. There was some media coverage that suggested that, like, the FBI and different agencies are actually ran in to get information and cover up information and hide information that the higher up elites didn't want to get exposed. I don't know how possible or plausible that is, but I do know that child trafficking has been an issue for a very long time. Before he was born, before any of the people whose names are coming up in the tabloids right now ever existed. Several generations before they ever existed. So I'm just curious, if nothing else, to know, are they really truly finally cracking down and are going to expose and address the severity of what's been going on and all parties involved, or just a select few to be the fall guys on what's going on? Just out of curiosity. But no matter what happens with this, being that it's been stirred and it's been presented publicly, my hope is that the people who have been victimized will find solace and peace. Will get some level of closure for what they've had to endure. I hope that new resources and things will be made available to help them cope with and deal with the pain and the abuse that they've endured. I hope that for the victims, that they can find real resolution, and also to be able to lean on one another. Because even if you have nothing else in common, you guys have a deep understanding of something that very few other people will ever understand. That is reason enough alone to be a support system to one another and help one another grow and cope and heal from what has happened. I know our society, and especially when you've been abused, the tendencies to withdraw and go into yourself. But I'm hoping that instead of withdrawing, people actually reach out to one another, actually show some real, genuine support for one another, actually stand up for one another, because one story corroborates another, And for some of the higher up people who would normally skate through the situation or circumstance, if enough people speak on their experiences and what they know, then perhaps, I don't know, but perhaps then more can actually be done about what has been going on. I've lost a lot of faith in our government in terms of doing what is right and doing what's in the best interest of the people is concerned. So I can't give you a pep talk or help you to feel confidence in something that I have no confidence in. However, I have absolute faith in God. He can take what seems to be impossible and make it possible. I've seen it too many times. If you believe and trust in Him. And no matter what you've done or been exposed to, just have an honest conversation with them. You don't need all the religious language, and just talk to Him the same way you would talk to me or any other person about what you feel, what you've been going through. If you feel abandoned, if you feel like He let you down, if you feel like whatever you feel, just speak honestly and openly and ask Him to intervene, to help you find the way to navigate through what you have to navigate through, and to give you the strength, the courage, the healing that you need to overcome the situation. Not just barely by the skin of your teeth overcome it, but to overcome it victoriously. To be able to give you that testimony that you can stand proud and strong again and share what you've gone through and know that God brought you through. He made a way out of no way, as only He can do. And this isn't someone who's preaching stuff that they haven't seen. The fact that I'm even alive, I can tell you some stories. And they're truthful and can be backed up. I've got the receipts with viable evidence of the truthfulness of my experiences. And God is real, very, very real, and very amazing. And He is no respecter of persons. So the things He has brought me through, He's not going to do anything for me that He won't do for you too. You just have to reach out to Him and trust in Him that He's got you and He won't drop you and He won't forsake you like people do. And there's nothing that you can't endure with Him. Through Him, we are more than just conquerors. All things are possible. Those aren't just words. It's truth. So having said that, my prayers are with all of you who has endured and who have been forced to endure and suffer things that should never have happened to anyone ever. For restoration, healing, accountability for those who caused the events. Clarity in mind and spirit. Freedom from anything that binds you or holds you in any way or has attached itself to you. And most of all, because the one thing most people through these situations and circumstances lose is their hope. Restoration of your hope and faith in yourself, in humanity, and in God. I will continue to pray for all of you. I don't have to know you to pray for you. I know what you're going through. That's enough. Be blessed. God will make a way out of no way.